Welcome back to the Forefathers Podcast, a space where we have honest conversations about manhood, purpose, healing, and responsibility. Today's episode is an important one. We're joined by Greg, a man who brings a grounded perspective on healing, discipline, relationships, and mental health. He's the firstborn son and a family of 4 boys, which already brings its own weight, expectations, and lessons. In a world where men are silently struggling, and where statistics show that men die by suicide at significantly higher rates than women, these conversations are no longer optional, they're necessary. This episode is about unpacking what men carry, why many suffer in silence, and how healing, brotherhood, discipline, and purpose can change the trajectory of a man's life. Greg, welcome to the Forefathers Podcast, my brother. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
How you been, man?
I've been alright, bro. How you been? It's good to be part of something that makes sense, you know?
Yeah.
Very good to be part of something that makes sense.
It's great, man. I think when you reached out, I was excited because I was like, there's so much depth in your story, and it's going to be so good for you to share it with people just so they can learn and they can hear from your experience. And I think without any further ado, we can jump straight into it. Today's conversation is an important one. We're going to be breaking some serious topics and trying to add some direction to somebody who's looking for guidance, you know? So, Greg, when we speak about healing, right, it's often framed as something that women do more openly than men. And in your experience, what does healing look like for men, and why do you think so many of us avoid that process?
So firstly, I feel like a lot of men try to avoid the process of healing because they feel like they don't have the permission to heal. Like they feel like if I show that I'm going through something, it's going to be taken the wrong way by people. People are going to look at me weirdly and be like, why is he going through something as a man? He should be, focused on other things. But, the reality is you have to heal. At the end of the day, we're human beings. We go through things. And you can shelve your emotions for as much as you want, but it's going to come out in a way that you don't like.
I hear you.
And that's going to lead to you losing people in your life, losing friends. It's just... Men should embrace healing. There's nothing wrong with going through things. There's nothing wrong with wanting to heal from the things you go through. And it's just more about embracing it and being open to be like, you know what, I'm going through something. Instead of running away from it, let me face this problem head on. Let me let my emotions do the talking. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with going through things. So men should stop running away from wanting to heal from things. Because it's going to come back eventually. It can take 10 years. You can be dealing with something from your childhood and you've never faced it, and you're wondering, why am I always feeling like this? Why am I always going through something? But there's certain trauma that you haven't let go, and you haven't faced that trauma to be like, you know what, I want to heal from this.
Yeah.
So I feel like men should stop running away from healing.
Got you.
It's very important for men to do that.
We got to embrace that process. And I think it's challenging for us to embrace it because it's, to your point, there isn't a platform, and we feel like if we do heal publicly, it's going to be taken as a sign of weakness. I think that can add on to what I want to know from you. What does the healing process look like for a man?
So, like, when I think about it personally, it's like a lot of men like to bury their emotions and not show them, right? But then why not just face your emotions head on? Why keep running away from it? Like, find something that gives you that space to heal. Find something that allows you to heal, that allows you to face those things and be like, you know what, I feel like this is going to be best for me because I can tell, like, I'm not good. I'm going through something and I need to do something about it.
Got you. Thanks for that. And one thing I've realized with the healing process, a lot of times we think that once we start healing, it's me reaching out to Greg to be like, yo, my brother, I'm not feeling okay about this. But I think even before that, when that healing process starts, it's a question of sitting with yourself and being like, okay, I am not okay. And that's the first thing. And there's something I was reading where they were speaking about how, because of the fact that healing and weakness, or rather healing has been seen as weakness, men only change something when the staying the same becomes so uncomfortable that it outweighs the fear of changing, So that's to your point, that we need to embrace that process. We need to go head on and say, okay, I'm not okay. Let me not bury this. And then it comes back when I have my first kid. You know, that's when the trauma comes back. And moving on to the next question, right? When we think about mental health, it's such a sensitive topic within our society for men. And from what you've seen or what you've experienced, what are the biggest mental health struggles men face today, and why do you think they're not spoken about enough?
So I think, like, I may be wrong, but I feel like the financial stress men go through is what's leading to a lot of their mental health problems. Like, money is key, but I feel like for men it's different. Like, from the first time someone sees you, they've already asked themselves, I wonder how much this guy makes. I wonder what he does for work. It's always about what you do, like how much money you make.
Sure.
That's the biggest issue men are facing, because you tend to set the bar so high for yourself, and when you don't get there in the timeline you've given, you get angry.
Sure.
You feel like, damn, nobody's gonna accept me because I don't make money. I don't make this type of money.
Yeah.
The financial stress men have is killing them.
Yeah. That's very sobering, and it's what's interesting is the fact that for a lot of men, their identity is attached to what they bring. A lot of times you might not even know who you are, because your identity is just, I'm the one who provides, I'm the one who pays for it. So now we get to a point where when financial things are not in place, which is life, right? There's ups and downs. When those things are not in place, there's a lot of identity confusion that leads to men, getting into a really, really dark place. And another one is definitely loneliness. The amount of men who say, I feel lonely, even when I'm amongst, a lot of people, is quite scary. So I definitely agree with you to say the financial side of things is rocking the boat a lot, because the statistics are quite scary. And speaking about statistics, Statista released a document, an interesting document, which clearly showed that men die by suicide at significantly higher rates than women. Why do you believe this is the case? And in your opinion, what might we be missing as men and as a society when it comes to addressing these issues?
So on that one, you see, it's a thing of, like, just going back to what you said about men and their identity. A lot of questions men are asking themselves is, am I in the right career? What is my purpose in life? A lot of men don't know what their purpose in life is. So I feel like the rates are high because there isn't that cushion. Men believe like there's no support. You have no one to go to when your life gets dark. Because since we were kids, that's what we're used to. Like, you're a provider, you're a man, you're supposed to do everything. So because you feel like, shit, things have hit the fan, and I don't think there's anything I can do about it but take my own life.
Sure.
Which is, it's a big problem, because when you look at women, for example, they're very, like, they have communities, they have support, like friends, they have support groups where if their friend's going through something, they're like, no guys, let's talk about this, our friend is going through something. Compared to a man, you try to talk about something and maybe people are gonna laugh at you, or you feel like they're gonna laugh at you. So you tend to bottle up those emotions, you tend to just keep them to yourself, and you end up driving yourself mad. And that leads to one thing, which is, it's a very selfish thing to do, but at the same time, you never know how badly that person was dealing with something. How long or how much they try to reach out to someone and be like, look, I'm going through something, I really need someone to talk to. But I'm also guilty of it. Like, someone may reach out to me and I'll just be like, bro, it's life, it'll pass. And I don't like that, because when people say it to me, I'm like, I don't think it will pass until I've done something to allow it to pass.
Oh, so that sitting in the emotion is something that us as men are not taught to do, because we always feel like we have to do something so that this feeling might pass. You know what I mean? And it's I'm a firm believer in being proactive, right? To say, okay, cool, we have vented, we have spoken about how we feel. What are the next steps of making us, feel better, right? But at the same time, sometimes it's necessary to just allow things for you to feel that, right? Because a lot of times I also feel, just to add on to what you're saying, from a man's perspective, our value comes from strength and results. So if you are feeling like you are not showing strength and the results are not going your way, more often than not, you internalize that,
Yeah.
and you really become so hard on yourself. And I feel very sorry for people who go through this to the extent of feeling like I'm worthless and I should take my life, because the definition of a man you've been given by society is, I am a provider, I am the financial backbone of my family. And then when you're not able to provide, the walls come crashing down, and I just wish that we were more proactive. But to your point, having community, having support for a brother to say, okay, cool, we're going to check in on this brother. And a lot of times I feel like society is not proactive in the checkups. We have maybe sympathetic checkups after the fact, when it's now a crisis.
Yeah, when there's now an issue.
Exactly. But then before it's an issue, the prevention is not there. Yeah. It only now comes after there's an incident to say, hey, no, Gareth tried to harm himself. Yeah. Guys, we need to check in on him. Yeah. And which is very sad that before the fact we don't have any communities for us to be able to prevent this. Mm-hmm. And I guess this will allow me to build on to the following question, because what we see is, and we're very happy about this, we're happy that there's more awareness about men's mental health. Yeah. But what scares me is the fact that now that the awareness is there, so what? What's being done? What's actually being done, or what's being put into place for us to prevent these things? So in your personal opinion, what practical solutions do you believe can actually help reduce suicide rates in men? And what should men be doing differently? And what should communities be doing better for us to prevent these suicide rates? Because fair and fine, we're now aware that men are going through this thing, but what should we do?
So firstly, I think what we're missing as a society or as communities is a safe space for men to vent and speak about things. Mm-hmm. Like I said, like men are more scared of being judged or being mocked, that they feel like they can't speak about things. But if we start teaching the young boys that, look, if you're going through something, that's fine. You can speak about it. Or you can, journal. You can write it down, speak to yourself about it if you feel like you don't want to speak to your friend about it. Maybe you're a bit shy or something. Yeah. Rather write it down, speak to your own thoughts, and find a way to deal with that problem before the suicidal voice starts speaking to you.
Sure. That's nice, bro. You're touching on a very powerful point to say we should be equipping the younger ones about how to deal with their emotions, because we've realized the stats are telling us we failed at it, because the stats are telling us that, as men, we've been looking at ourselves as these all-powerful and all-knowing beings, and we've stripped ourselves of our humanity, because now we're not even able to feel. We don't allow ourselves to feel, which is something that's normal, and I really like that empowering to say, let's focus on the next generation. Yeah. Let's teach those kids to say, hey, my guy, do you have a gratitude journal? Are you journaling what you're feeling? So we can prevent that. And also, just to build onto that, I feel we should be having at various institutions, I think, to be more intentional about solving the problem. Maybe even in the church, where there's mentorship groups that are specifically to help young men, or even at schools, these mentorship groups. And this one will be quite nice. Actually, if there's any, medical aid institutions, when you guys decide to roll something like this out, you can hit my line. Definitely. But something they can do, is if, let's say, Men's Mental Health Month, right? Yeah. We have a medical aid facility that's at the gym, that's letting men know that they have free access to 4 therapy sessions. Yeah. For that month of the mental health, you have 4 free sessions. Because through research, we know that there's stigma around therapy, right? Yeah. Men kind of shy away from it. But after they try it, the first try, they realize that, no, I feel empowered, So what we need is more men actually getting used to going to therapy. So things like having free therapy sessions at Men's Mental Health Month is definitely going to open the door to that. And just having platforms, like you said, where men can just be free and be able to just speak what's going on. Because one thing I've realized is there's a lot of learning from you sharing your story now. A lot of men are going to hear that, oh, okay, so I'm not alone in this.
Yeah. Because, the pain builds quietly. Like, you don't even notice that I'm actually going through it until next thing you're getting a call from someone like, oh, he took his own life. Sure. And people start asking, like, why didn't he say something? Why was he quiet? But it's like, there's no room to say anything. So what you're saying about, like, medical aid facilities being like, look guys, it's Mental Health Awareness Month. Here's 4 free therapy sessions. Share them with your friend. Bring a friend. You know, I feel like it'll make a huge difference in life, because especially if we start with the kids, they will grow up knowing that no, just because I'm in a situation doesn't mean the only answer is to take my own life. You know.
And I really like how you put that, to say bring a friend. Because now
friend.
it's a community that's being built.
That's how you build the communities. That's how you start.
I like that, and I'm a firm believer of practical solutions. So this conversation excites me quite a lot. So at least now we have some practical solutions that we can actually apply, you know, to speak to these statistics, because the statistics are alarming. You know, it shouldn't be normalized that it's very normal that, you know, a man at a certain age is likely to take his own life.
Exactly.
You know, it should not be normal. And when we move on to getting more personal into your life, because we've kind of gotten a broad perspective on how you see different things. We've mentioned, my bro, you're the firstborn son in a family of 4 boys, man. Of 4 lions, you know, in one household, making it 5 with your father.
Exactly.
You know, so that obviously comes with a lot of pressure, man, and responsibility, and a lot of unspoken expectations. So I want to know, how did being the firstborn kind of shape you as a man, and how did it influence how you see responsibility and leadership?
Okay, so firstly, I love my brothers. My younger brothers, like, I would go to the ends of the world for my younger brothers, no matter what it may cost me, because, you know, those are my guys. And no matter how hard it will be, I will always be there for them. I'm so grateful for my younger brothers. And I look up to them as well, because, you know, those are my bros. Those are my younger bros. They're people I can look up to, I can speak to at any time. They'll always be there for me, you know. But then now, being the firstborn son comes with a lot of pressure. Like, there's immense pressure for the firstborn son, because all the gates open for you first. All the doors open for you first. So if you don't make the right decisions, like for example with me, I've got 3 younger brothers looking at me, and they're like, okay, cool. The door opened for Greg first, but he didn't do anything. So why should I be the one who does something? Because people may not realize it, but your siblings are looking up to you. They may not say it as well, but they're definitely looking up to you. They're looking at how you dress. They're looking at the music you listen to. They're looking at how you do things, and they want to be like that. They're like, no, I want to be like my older bro. You know, and with the gates opening first for you, your siblings are also waiting for those gates to open first. So as much as I make mistakes, my siblings are also looking at me like, okay, when Greg made this mistake, what did he do in this situation? So it's not always about the good things. Even the bad things, they're looking at the bad things as well. Like, okay, he's done this, but he did this to fix it. Or he did this to rectify what he did. He tried harder the second time. So they're looking at everything, from the good stuff, the bad stuff, the mistakes, everything. Your siblings will always look up to their older brother and be like, what would he do in this situation? So if you haven't done anything for your siblings to see and be like, I look up to this guy because when he did this, this was the outcome, then there's something you're doing wrong as an older brother. That's what I feel like.
Yeah, that's deep. That's deep. I feel like consciously, subconsciously, you're already being tasked to create the blueprint.
That's correct, definitely.
You know, and that's a lot of pressure to say, like, Greg is exhibit A, you know, already from the jump. But what I like from what I'm hearing from you is it's something you're very proud of. To say, look, I love my bros, and I know they're looking at me. They might not say it, but I know they're watching what I'm doing. Not only the good or the bad. And I liked how you mentioned that they're also looking at the fact that when you make a mistake, how did you get back up on your feet? You know, because
like, the weight of the responsibility it's not abstract. Like, if something were to happen, like God forbid, people would look at me like, you now have to make a way for your brothers. How are you going to do that? What are you going to do for your brothers' lives to still continue on the right path? As the older bro.
Yeah, that's deep. And I think there's a lot of lessons that we can learn from whatever stage you're at, if you're first, if you're last born, or whatever it is. Just that sense of pride, you know, of the family, and that sense of responsibility for the next man, you know. And I feel like that's something that is uniquely tailored for the firstborn son, because that relationship with your siblings, with your father, etc., it already puts you at a stage whereby you're supposed to be involved in people's lives, and your younger siblings' lives. You're not only thinking about yourself.
Exactly.
You know, it strips you away of being selfish.
Yeah.
You know, it already demands of you to be someone who's considerate of the other guy. So I really like how you broke that down.
Yeah, like I remember when I was growing up, my dad would constantly remind me that you've got 3 younger people looking up to you. So, you know, leadership, it's not about a title. You know, like, we can all be leaders, but it's more about how you navigate life for the people closest to you.
I like that.
Yeah.
Leadership is about how you navigate life for the people closest to you. That's deep. So now that we've kind of gotten an idea of how the relationship was structured with your siblings, let's dive deeper into the relationship you have with your father. You know, how would you describe that relationship growing up, and what lessons, good or difficult, did it teach you about manhood specifically?
So, my dad and I are closer now than we were when I was growing up. And that's simply because my dad was like really strict. You know, Zim parents are really strict.
Yeah.
So sometimes, because of the fear, you wouldn't really speak about things or want to be close to him, should I put it that way.
Yeah.
But then, like, now, a lot of things have changed, and I view a lot of things differently, where our relationship is much better. And like, for example, with the gym, I started going to the gym because my dad went to the gym.
Nice.
Yeah. I got that from my dad. I was like, this is actually something I think is fit for me too. And, you know, just as a side note, my dad fasts for 5 days on just water. And I once asked him, like, what is the point of this? And he said, I'm training my mind to be stronger.
Nice.
So you see, if he's willing to put his body under that amount of pressure, why can't I do the same? Because I've done a 2-day fast before on just water. And it's hell, I won't lie. It makes you view life differently. You get a different perspective on life when you do a 2-day fast.
Yeah.
It makes you think about, so all the people who are on the side of the road, this is what they go through.
Yeah.
And when he told me that he fasts for 5 days, I was like, geez, that is, you know, someone, you want to look up to someone like that. If he's trying to train his mind, like, if he's locked in like that, you should be locked in like that too. Definitely.
That's powerful. And I like how you included the gym as well as the spirituality of things. Because I once asked my dad if he could tell me 2 pieces of advice. If he could only tell me 2 things as advice for my life, what would it be? He said, work out and pray. Those are the 2 things you just need to focus on. When you work out, you're staying out of trouble. Prayer gives you direction and purpose for your life. So those are very, very good, you know, lessons you got.
For me, I think that one of the hardest lessons I learned from my dad was that you're not always going to get what you want. Life is never going to go the way you want it to go all the time. And I carry with that me today because, you know, we go through things happen, and if you feel like you're entitled to certain things, it will hit harder. But if you have that mentality of, like, you know, I'm not always going to get what I want, things would be different for you. Like, life isn't going to be fair all the time. Like, things don't happen the way you want them to happen. So learning to accept that allows you to navigate life better, because you don't dwell on things that happen because you believe it was meant for you or something.
I like that. And you mentioned something quite interesting. You said growing up, there was a sense of fear with your dad. Do you feel like the fear kind of made you not understand him because you weren't close and direct proximity with him as you are now? Would you say you understand your father more now than back then when there was that cloud of fear surrounding you?
I think I understand why he was so strict with us.
Gotcha.
Because he was trying to guide us in the right path. He knew how dangerous the world was. And, you know, you hear stories about people who, they went to private schools, they went to uni, and then they just fell off. Because they didn't have that discipline. Nobody showed them that discipline. Like, if you make certain mistakes, they could cost you for the rest of your life.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I like that. I like that a lot. And now moving on to relationships, you know, something that I think no man has fully cracked yet, you know. We're still all trying to figure out, be it relationships or marriage. No one has the formula, but how we become better humans is by sharing each other's experiences, because that contributes to our understanding. So when we now look at, you know, romantic relationships, as I mentioned, many men struggle with this particular aspect of communication as well as vulnerability. How would you say relationships challenged you as a man, and what have they taught you about emotional maturity and self-awareness?
So like with relationships, like the point you made of communication, I don't think men really struggle with communication. I feel like the struggle comes when you and your partner are not seeing eye to eye. You're trying to communicate something to your partner, but she's not getting it the way you want her to get it. So it turns into a fight or an argument, and then you shelve the conversation.
Gotcha.
So it's not that men can't communicate, but I feel like they struggle to communicate the right way to reach their partner. And it takes a lot of patience for that. A lot of hard conversations need to be had when it comes to that, because I think communication is the most important part of a relationship. If you guys can communicate well, you'll definitely make it far.
You mentioned that we don't have a communication problem. We only have a problem when what we are saying is not reaching.
Yeah,
or
when the other person's not receptive to what you're saying.
Yeah.
When you don't like how she's taking it.
Yeah.
You then start to think she doesn't care about you. But that's not the case. She's just also struggling with communication.
Yeah, it's definitely the pillar of a good relationship, because to your point, like, we can speak about anything, but once we feel that maybe it's not going right, we get either defensive or we just say, nah, I'd rather not talk about it, actually.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Let's leave it, So, and that's unhealthy, because you say let's leave it, but in the back of your mind, you've shelved it. And that pile is going to keep festering and growing, So that's very risky. And then in terms of the emotional maturity of things, that aspect, how has that shown up in relationships for you?
So using my last relationship as an example, emotional maturity is important, and it's key when it comes to relationships, because relationships require patience, forgiveness, and self-awareness, like you said. So it's like without them, it's easy to lose yourself. And then you start, instead of trying to make someone else happy, you're trying to make yourself happy, because you feel like, you know what, I don't want to be vulnerable to this person anymore.
Sure.
So I'm going to just be quiet. And that you self-destruct, the relationship will explode. Definitely.
I hear you.
Self-awareness helps you recognize your patterns. So if you've done something wrong and you have a hard conversation with yourself and you're like, okay, I see where I went wrong and I want to fix what I did wrong, I feel like the relationship becomes better.
I hear you.
So emotional maturity is important for a relationship, because we're not kids at the end of the day.
Yeah. There has to be some growth within self and the relationship.
There has to be some growth, because you're going to make decisions, and those decisions are going to compromise you, and then you're going to look back and be like, shit, I should have actually done this instead of this. And this is me speaking from experience.
I hear you. And I like that. What would you say to a young kid who is in a relationship and he's struggling to make it work, but he knows this is his person? What advice would you give to a young person who's navigating relationships and saying, I don't know how to hack this thing?
So I think relationships are challenging for everyone, firstly, and they teach you a lot about yourself. You learn about different sides of yourself while you're in a relationship. And the biggest lesson for me has been that you need balance. You need to be patient. You can't give up who you are or your emotional side or your emotional energy, and at the same time you need to show patience, because giving up who you are for someone else when they can't meet you halfway or extend a certain amount of grace to you, the same grace you extended to them, it will just lead to the relationship not working. So relationships are hard, definitely. It's hard to be with someone. It's hard to be married to someone as well. My dad told me that himself. But you just have to be patient with yourself. You have to communicate better. So to someone younger than me, I'd just be like, be patient. Don't do things just because you feel like you need to do them. Be patient with yourself, build something, and find something that will allow the emotional maturity of a relationship to be on the good side.
I hear you. And thanks for that. I hope the younger ones who are listening are taking notes, because the only way we learn is from other people's experiences, so that we either
100%.
don't make the same mistakes and we become better people. And one thing about you that I like, bro, is the consistency in the gym, bro. I can say that a lot of times when I'm just seeing you post, I'm just like, I need to go harder. I'm seeing Greg go hard, I need to go harder. And that's something I admire about you, is the discipline side of things, because regardless what's going on, I know Greg at this time is in the gym.
Yeah.
You know, and that's something I really admire about you. So when we look at, you know, the gym life and that discipline aspect, beyond the aesthetic, right? What role has the gym played in your mental health, in your healing, and your identity as a man? And where do you think some men get it wrong with the gym culture?
So for me, firstly, I love the gym. If I could live in the gym, I probably would, because it's the only place where I can go, put my headphones on, be myself, and not worry about anything.
Yeah.
And I train alone most times.
Yeah.
In fact, 90% of the time I'm training alone.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that. Like, it allows me to process my thoughts. If I've had a bad day at work, it allows me to process that bad day at work. Hearing the weights bang on the floor, hearing the sound of the metal, it allows me to be like, okay, I can think freely without worrying about anything else. Because the funniest thing I noticed was during, like, for example, if I'm going through something, I can just hear voices in my head during the day.
Yeah.
But once I get to the gym, nothing.
It's quiet.
It's quiet. It's just me, my thoughts. And it's easier for me to process those things.
Yeah.
And like with what you're saying, like, it's not just about the aesthetic. It has to be like therapy for you. Like, use the gym as therapy. If you enjoy hearing the weights bang on themselves, and if that helps you calm down or process your emotions, then you should use that more. Like, a lot of men make the mistake when they go to the gym. It's more of they're forgetting why they're there. You're not just there to have a banging body, you know what I'm saying? You're there, the gym is helping you. You may not realize it now, but the gym is definitely helping you, because for me, it's the only place I feel like I can fully be myself.
Yeah.
And I also feel like other men are getting it wrong because they're not training their mind.
Oh yeah.
They're just training their body.
That's powerful.
They want to get big in 2 weeks, you know, walk around with swollen chest, but the discipline it takes to push through your last rep when you're struggling, it's the same discipline you should use in life.
Yeah.
Like, if I can push myself to do 12 reps instead of 10, why can't I push myself to chase my goals like that?
I like that.
Because at the gym, you know, if you're training with someone, he's going to push you to do that last rep. So why can't you also train your mind to be like, shit, I'm tired today, but I need to work. So that's what I use the gym for.
I like that.
If you set a goal for yourself in the gym, and you don't stop till you reach that goal.
100%.
So why can't you set a goal for yourself in life and not stop till you reach that goal? Go at it every day. I go to the gym Monday to Friday, 5 days a week. I don't miss the gym. Well, maybe because of work I may miss it, but besides that, I won't miss the gym.
Yeah.
And that should be how you should carry yourself in life.
Yeah.
You've set a goal for yourself, so don't stop until you get there. And I feel like that's the mistake most men make. They set a goal. Once you get to your goal, you're done. You're not doing anything to maintain that goal.
Yo, bro, you mentioned two powerful things. You mentioned how the gym it's not just a place, it's actually therapy. You can use that for therapy. And the second part was how you broke down using that same analogy of the gym within real life to say, okay, I've set a standard in the gym to say I'm doing 12 reps and I never stop until I get to that 12.
No matter how hard it gets.
Exactly. So why can't I use that same discipline when I'm chasing my goals? To say no matter how hard it gets, this goal that I wrote needs to be ticked off.
Without fail.
Without fail. So I like how you use that same thinking within your day-to-day life. And I think, to your point, a lot of men get that part wrong. Because we're just in there to punish ourselves, and then we're done. We're not actually learning the disciplines of the gym and applying them to our real life.
Yeah, because I think men, particularly men, should use the gym to build both their body, but also to strengthen your resilience. You know?
Yeah.
Because life is hard, but if your resilience is strong, you'll be able to navigate life much easier. It won't be easy per se, but I feel like it will just become easier for you.
Yeah. So you build your body and you build your mind.
Yeah, at the same time.
At the same time. I like that. And just getting closer to the end of our conversation, can you imagine we're getting there? But I've thoroughly enjoyed this. And just to close off, when all is said and done, right? What does being a man mean to you? And how do you define purpose in your life? And what message would you leave with young men who are still trying to kind of find their footing in life and figure themselves out?
So for me, being a man is leading the way for the people behind you. It means you're chasing your dreams, you're building a life, and you're opening doors. But not for yourself, though, for the people that follow behind you. That's just the hard truth about being a man. You are the one who has to open the doors, set the way for your people, you know? And it's like, for your partner, it's for your siblings, it's for your parents too, because, you know, Mike Tyson once said, life is a circle. When your parents get old, who takes care of them?
Yeah,
It's you. Exactly. So if you haven't opened those doors, how are you going to take care of your parents when they're old?
Yeah.
You're just going to check them into a facility and forget about them.
Yeah.
But if you do things the right way, everything you do as a man is bigger than yourself.
Yeah.
It's about the responsibility. It's about being a provider, you know, and setting an example for people. And my message to the young men is pace yourself.
Yeah.
There's always going to be more money to be made. The money will never run out.
Yeah.
If someone gets to their goal faster than you, that doesn't mean you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Your paths are not the same.
Yeah.
So just pace yourself. If something doesn't work out with someone, there'll always be another person, you know? So carry yourself with integrity, with confidence. You should be able to know what type of person you want to be, not the type of person the world wants you to be, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like young men, they look up to people and they forget who they are.
Yeah.
Because they say, well, I mean, he did it this way and it worked for him.
Someone to
It's
do
not
that.
going to be the same for you.
Yeah.
Definitely. It won't be the same for you.
Yeah.
And it's like being a man is not about rushing to the finish line. It's about walking the path with purpose, you know?
Yeah.
The discipline and the respect you need to have for yourself as well. It'll allow you to, you know, navigate life as the man you want to be.
Yeah.
So that your siblings will look up to you. You know? You meet a random person somewhere and it'll just be like, bro, I like how you carry yourself. What do you do? Like, it happens to me so many times. I meet people and they're like, what's your gym routine? Like, you look good. And for me, I personally think it's just about how I carry myself when I'm out there, you know? So to the young people, just pace yourself. Be very patient with yourself. There's no need to rush because you're not going to get anywhere if you're rushing.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah. You mentioned something. You said, as a man, everything is always bigger than yourself.
Most definitely.
Yeah, I like that part. I think that's something that definitely the younger men kind of finding themselves in this world can really hold on to. And I like the part where you mentioned sometimes as young men, you tend to look up to people and forget who you are.
Exactly.
You know, and one thing that we're noticing with men is there's a lot of identity crisis because the template that our fathers used to define a man no longer fully exists.
100%.
Because we live in a different world now.
Things have changed.
You know, so now when we don't know who we are, the people we look up to, and it's unfortunate that the media, you know, the portrayals of manhood by the media and what we have, you know, access to might not be what resonates with our values, etc., etc. And that's where that confusion comes to say, who am I actually?
Which is why you need to find yourself.
Exactly.
You need to go through those journeys, go to the gym and find yourself. Find out who you are and what your purpose is.
Like
Don't let the world pick the purpose for you.
Yeah.
Like, when I grew up, my dad wanted me to be a doctor or a lawyer, but that just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of people do things to impress their parents, but you end up working a job you didn't like for years just to impress your parents.
Yeah.
So rather find out who you are, find out what you want to do, because I can guarantee you, whatever it is you see yourself doing, once you know that's what you want to do, you're going to do it to your best ability. And that allows you to smash your goals, make as much money as you want, because it's who you are. It's who you want to be.
Yeah. It's your path.
It's your path. You're not trying to be someone else.
Yeah. And how does a young kid of, let's say he's 21, how does he find purpose? If he's watching this and he's saying, Greg, I'm hearing exactly what you're saying, but this purpose that you speak of, I don't know who I am. How do I find that purpose?
So for me, I feel like that's where finding a mentor comes in. Find someone who can guide you. Find someone who you can speak to.
Yeah.
Ask someone, like, I'm looking for a book to read.
Yeah.
What can I read?
Yeah.
And that person will probably recommend a book for you. And you'll find that when you're reading that book, you start to realize certain things, like, oh shit, this is how things work. I've gotten better at speaking about my problems.
Yeah.
Because my mentor guided me.
I like that.
He told me to read this book. He told me to journal. He told me to stop focusing on the unnecessary things. Focus more on yourself and who you want to be. What do you want to portray? Like, we're not famous or anything, but I always ask myself, like, when it's all said and done and I pass, God forbid, what will people remember me for?
Yeah.
What are they going to say?
What is my story?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, are they going to be like, oh yeah, he just went to the gym. That's that. Like, you want people to be like, this guy was, because for example, my dad, I look up to my dad so much. Like, he is the man I aspire to be. Till this day, I want to be like my dad. The way he dresses, the way he talks, everything, the music he listens to, I got it from my dad. So he's someone who I've always told myself, like, if I was to come back as someone else, it wouldn't be Sim Dope. It'd be my dad. Definitely.
Yeah. Hey, bro, I really like that. And I like how you describe the journey of being a man as, you know, it clearly depicts that no man is an island.
Yeah.
You can't do this by yourself.
You cannot.
You won't figure yourself out by yourself. You know.
You won't.
You need help. You need the mentors.
How do you know that what you're doing is right? What are you...
What's the measuring stick?
What are you measuring yourself against?
Yeah.
If you just saying, no, what I know is correct.
Yeah.
Everything is a learning curve. Like, I believe life, it's a lesson.
Yeah.
You learn from your father. You learn from your siblings. Even if they're younger than you, you learn from them still.
Yeah.
From your friends, everyone in your life. It's all about learning.
Yeah. Yo, Greg, my brother, I appreciate you. And thank you so much for sharing your story, bro. This was beautiful.
Yeah.
I think what I liked most about our conversation is that there's practical steps to say, how do we better this society? How do we take our next steps to make sure that these statistics are not this high?
Yeah.
How do we give a footing for the young men who are coming? And I like how you focused primarily on the next generation, you know, and trying to fix these problems for them. You know, so I really like that. And again, my brother, thank you so much for your honesty and your depth in the conversation. I feel these are the kind of conversations that really help men feel less alone and feel more equipped to face life with intention. And to everyone who's listening at home, and if you resonated with this episode, make sure you share it with another brother, because healing happens in community.
Facts.
Make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. This helps our community grow, and it helps the platform grow. And I hope you enjoyed the episode. Until next time, keep growing, keep building, and keep striving to be better. Cheers.